Before we get to the main part of this video, I just want to let you know the deep dive newsletter for October is out. This month I take a look at the consequences of the ongoing moral panic driven by the hashtag #MeToo movement. I also detail the on-court meltdown of Serena Williams, the tantrum queen, and as usual, there's a page on markets and the watch, read, listen section, which is full of interesting media that will keep you entertained for hours. And for those who subscribe to the Deep Dive Extra, the first investment idea for this month is an options strategy contributed by my colleague at Charter Markets, Patrick Pecci. Patrick has extensive experience trading options and implementing option strategies for clients. And in this note, he takes us through a strategy known as the Iron Condor, which he implemented profitably last month. You can subscribe to the Deep Dive Extra for $5 Aussie a month. Links in the comments below. Now, last year I put out a video called The Great Moral Panic of 2017 in reference to the hashtag #MeToo movement, in which I predicted that this panic would not subside with a turn of the calendar. And I'm not sure if the confirmation hearing of Brett Kavanaugh represents peak Me Too, but there is no question that we are now in the midst of a moral panic. And you know when you're in the midst of a moral panic, when due process is ignored, the presumption of innocence is now the presumption of guilt, and evidence is disregarded in favour of mob justice. The Kavanaugh hearing is now a circus. It turns on the emotions of those giving evidence. Kavanaugh was angry and defiant. Blasey Ford reverted to the persona of an 8-year-old child. Kavanaugh liked to drink, perhaps too much. Blasey Ford is so traumatised she can't fly, even though she does so regularly. Now, while some of these peripheral details may attest to the credibility of witnesses, they are mostly irrelevant to the allegation that Brett Kavanaugh sexually assaulted Christine Blasey Ford 36 years ago. Rachel Mitchell, the sex crimes prosecutor hired by the Senate Judiciary Committee to question Blasey Ford about her allegations of assault against Brett Kavanaugh, told the panel she wouldn't have prosecuted the case. Quote, "A he said, she said case is incredibly difficult to prove, but this case is even weaker than that. There is no corroborating evidence for Blasey Ford's account, and thus it would be thrown out of a courtroom or wouldn't even make it into a courtroom in the first place. And it should be thrown out of the court of public opinion as well." But we have now a hysterical movement reminiscent of the Salem witch trials, where mob justice overrides any rational consideration of the evidence. Take the hysterical rantings of this psychological infant.
I called her swine! This guy assaulted a woman!
Prove it. He's innocent until proven guilty. Prove it. What evidence do you have?
What evidence do you have that didn't?
I don't have to prove a negative. That's what makes our judicial system so amazing.
So you're gonna let a potential assaulter what kind of uncultured swine are you? Tell me, do you not believe her? Do you not believe women who are raped and assaulted?
I believe something happened to her. I do not believe it was Brett Kavanaugh.
Why? Where do you get that idea from? Your Republican talking points?
Do they not teach civics anymore? Due process, evidence, these are just inconvenient obstacles to the lynch mob mentality of these hysterical idiots. Women are mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore. But mad at what exactly? Your word not being taken as gospel because you made an accusation that's 36 years old without any corroborating evidence? Or how about this ridiculous nonsense?
Dear Judge Kavanaugh,
Mr. Kavanaugh,
Dear Brett Kavanaugh,
we the people
call on you
to withdraw your nomination
to the Supreme Court
of the United States of America.
We call on you
to withdraw,
not as a declaration of guilt or innocence,
but as a declaration
that the sanctity,
legitimacy, integrity
of the highest court in the land
are more important
than any one man or one man's ambitions. We the people.
Did you notice how the people are represented by a handful of women?
Demand a Supreme Court justice
without allegations of sexual assault
or perjury or covering up
his employer's sexual misconduct.
because the safety and dignity of women
is no longer secondary to the needs of powerful men.
Because the safety and dignity of women is no longer secondary to the needs of powerful men. Apparently, the safety of women is imperiled by a need for evidence before destroying an individual's reputation. How about this? Due process, the presumption of innocence, and evidence can never be secondary to the needs of hysterical women.
We call on you.
History in America calls on you.
To withdraw.
Immediately.
Now.
Today.
For the good of the court.
And the country.
Your time, Judge Kavanaugh, is up.
Well, I agree. Time is up. Time is up for emotional infants incapable of rational thought or argument. Time is up on women that demand mob justice. Your rage is not justified, and you have forfeited your right to be taken seriously or treated like adults.